You are listening to WCB Newsline Unleashed.
All right, so we are here today to talk to the married couples of WCB who volunteered to hang out with us and answer some questions about their marriage. Linda and I have been putting this podcast together to illustrate love all across the organization of WCB. And we're glad you guys are here to spend time with us and answer our questions. Linda and I will take turn asking the couples questions, and we will hear their answers. And each of them, they will answer alphabetically. So we have Arvidsons.
Okay, I'm Colette Arvidson, and one interesting point about our marriage is I'm wife number 6 for Andy.
Andy, do you have anything that you would like to add to
that? Yeah, I'm Andy Arvidson, and I had 5 practice wives.
Brannon's. We have Nathan and Julie.
I'll start. This is Julie Brannon. And an interesting fact about our wedding is I wanted to sing at the wedding, and Nathan very wisely knew I'd be an absolute nervous wreck. So we recorded our song and played a recording at the wedding of us singing.
Actually, this is Nathan Brannon, and I had a selfish motive. I would be in tears if I was trying to sing at my own wedding. So it was really about me.
All right, Coulters.
Go, Chris.
Well, we have been married for almost 22 years. That'll be on May 5th of 2001. And we had at the wedding everybody from very elegant, lovely, wealthy, some middle class type people. Everyone from them up to children and guide dogs. We just had many people, aunts and uncles and my sisters. That was great. How about you, John?
The thing is that the most current one is the best one.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll ask the first question. How and where did you meet? And we'll go with Colette and Andy first.
We met at Brighton Presbyterian Church at 51st and Holly on Monday night, February 1990.
Andy knows the numbers.
Yeah.
Colette, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I said he's got it right on. Thanks.
All right. What did you do on your first date? Oh no, hold on. We gotta go. Sorry, my bad. We gotta go to Brandon's for the first question. My bad.
I was sorry I didn't get to answer.
Yeah, my bad.
That's all right. This is Julie. I'll answer. Nathan can fill in, or Nathan and I talk faster. We met, and this is going to sound weird, but he was a student at the OTC and I was a teacher. So we met there. It was clear we had several things in common. He was my Braille student, and we didn't talk that much, but I could tell there was just a connection between us. And we both kind of sensed it, but I knew we couldn't do anything until he was, number one, not a student any longer, and number 2, not a DSB participant any longer. So once that all ended, we got together, and that's what happened. We were both Christians, and we knew we had similar views politically, etc. So we felt quite connected, and I fell in love. I'll tell you what he did that got me. He likes to write music and sing music, and he had a song that he'd written and sang, and he let me hear it. Oh, that did it for me.
To add to that, this is our first marriage for both of us. So we're very inexperienced compared to the other folks here. But anyway, it was an interesting timing at the OTC. And yes, we didn't really date until...
We didn't date at all.
Yeah, we didn't date at all until I was out of the OTC and on my way to other things. But yeah, definitely there was a real connection there.
Coulter?
It is my first marriage. We started dating, we met each other in 1997. And during that year, we had occasion to, he would bring me home from church, give me rides to church. And the one thing that was really important, really interesting to me was John met my sister Carrie before he met me. And the funny part about it was he didn't know that about the connection. And I introduced him to Carrie, and his voice went up about 3 octaves. You're her sister, because he wanted to ask her out, and she said, "Oh, honey, I'm married," and he was. So, but when I said, "This is my sister Carrie," and he was, "Were you red? Were you blushing?" Oh, you won't tell me. Okay, and I think I got myself into a hole here.
Yeah, you dug deep, but anyway, I took you back, took you home night after night, and they got to know you better and better, and figured that's good for me. You're not,
and it was good for me too.
yeah.
All right. Next question. The question I asked a second ago. What did you all do on your first dates? We'll start with the Arvidsons.
Okay, well, first I need to say, this is Colette, and there must be something about DSB, because when I met Andy, he was working at DSB, Department of Services for the Blind. And I wasn't really planning on dating him whatsoever. So I don't know if we get to count the Seafair Parade or the movie as our real first date. You go for it, Andy.
Probably the Seafair Parade. I was working at Rainier Lions Insight Center at the same time, and we took a crowd of clients from DSB and Rainier Lions Insight Center to the Seafair Parade.
And we tried to be there just as friends, because I was dating someone else long distance at the time. And I just thought Andy was kind of a friend, but there was something going on, that connection, like Julie was talking about, and Chris and John were talking about. So, but we didn't know what it was yet. I didn't know what it was yet.
Was there a specific moment that you started to not be friends at that event, like where it started to feel a little more real, I guess?
Okay, I'm going to tell one from me well, you can tell when you made it real.
Well, it was like our third date, and we went out to dinner at South Center Mall. And during dinner, we walked down and started looking at jewelry. And when we looked at rings, I said, "Would you like to marry me?" On our third date.
Okay, but I'm telling, when you say, when did it start feeling real? Andy and I were doing things together with a bunch of friends all the time, and I wasn't looking for a relationship because I had one in Boston from a person while I was still living in Seattle. And Andy's car got stuck at the church one night. We thought it was broken. I said, "Well, I live close here. I've got an extra bedroom downstairs. You can stay." So I took him home with me, and a lot of times the people in our group hugged. So I gave him a hug, and then I looked at him and I said, "You need to go downstairs and go to bed now because you're just too cute."
Oh.
And I could tell there was a connection. It's like, wait, I'm dating somebody else. This isn't what I need to figure out what's going on before I do any more than hug this man and tell him to go to sleep in a separate room.
Cute. Yeah.
That is the most adult thing I've ever heard anyone say, I think.
I know.
That was the first time I was an adult. And at that point I was already 40 something.
So the old broken down car trick. Very good, Andy. Good job.
Yeah.
Julie and Nathan, what did you do on your first date?
You want to say first, Nathan?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what our first date was.
Well, I think I remember. I'll talk.
What
Nathan came to my condo, and
Yeah.
we had tons of fun. And you guys are going to laugh. We played Bop It a lot. That kind of was our introduction to fun things. And we played cards. I had a deck of braille cards, and Nathan had a vision he could see cards at that time. So we did a lot of fun things at the condo. And the fun thing was I had a clock that chimed, and every hour on the hour. And when it chimed a certain time, I said, you got to go home because I got to go to work tomorrow. And he hated that clock. He kept threatening to get rid of that clock so he wouldn't have to leave. And that gave me a clue that he enjoyed being there.
But I don't know. That's not really the question though, is our first date, but I don't know when our first date was. I know that coming over to your place was kind of like a date, I guess, in a way. And I'll just say that coming to her place, there was just a feeling there. It was a feeling of peace and just a brightness that I felt there. It was a time of really growing for us as far as a friendship. I think the first real maybe date that we did was when we went and saw that Beatles tribute band. I mean, that's the date I remember. That was a fun one.
That was fun.
Yeah, but as far as dates, we spent a lot of time I spent a lot of time at her house, visiting and playing Bop It, playing cards. Julie does not like to lose, though. I just let you know that she does not like to lose, and she got very frustrated with the card game we were playing and decided she was going to blow the cards all over the place. So that was it. We were done with that game. Anyway, that's my answer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
That sounds awesome. Sounds like a fun time.
We did have a good time.
It sounds like you all three had a nice time.
Mhm.
The next question was,
Hold on, we gotta do the Coulters. We gotta do Coulters.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we did a strange thing. We sat in the balcony of the Everett Theater and I narrated a silent movie to her.
Yes.
oh,
There's a lot
Yes.
more going on than just talking.
And the day after, we went to my father's assisted living facility. And we were in the dining room with him and my older sister. And my dad asked, well, what have you been doing? And one of us said, well, we went to a silent movie yet last night. And Beth, my older sister, started laughing really hard, and it made everybody else in the room, they heard it and they were laughing. And the fact that he took me to a silent movie, it was fun.
Buster Keaton.
Yeah, Buster Keaton. I think it was Strangers on a Train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next questions.
the next question for the Arvidsons. How long did you date before you got married?
Not very long. It was like about a month from the Seafarers Parade to the time I said, I want you to marry me.
Then we didn't get married until May.
9 months later.
Yeah, 9 months later. And it wasn't because I was pregnant. But I think the thing for us was that we knew each other, as Andy mentioned. We met in February and we were just friends because I thought I had a relationship. I didn't have to worry about a relationship because all the rest of my life, I always worried that I had to have somebody in my life or else I mustn't be good enough unless I had somebody who'd call me his girl. And what was nice about the fact that I just was being myself because it was a long distance relationship that I was involved with when I met Andy. We got to be friends from February until August when I sent him home that night, when I realized there was something going on, and broke up with the guy the next day, the long distance. And that's when we, so it didn't take us long to decide we wanted to be together, but it was nice just to have a friend for the very first time doing an adult friendship first.
And she was jealous because I was dating.
And he was jealous every time he heard the voice when the gang was all together. He'd hear Dan, the guy I had my long distance relationship with in Boston, calling on my voice on my answering machine. And he's like, "Arr." So between the two of us, we knew there was something wrong, but we couldn't quite figure it out for a few months.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So Nathan and Julie Brannon.
That's interesting, Colette. Your friend that you were dating, his name was Dan. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
Interesting. Well, so just to kind of clarify here, Julie had a friend she was dating as well, or sort of dating or something. His name was Dan, right,
Oh.
Jewel?
Did, yes, a lot of Dans
Yeah.
in the
A lot of
world.
Dans for
A lot of rejected Dans.
Yeah, a lot of rejected Dans. Poor Dan.
But
Gosh.
anyway, I'm going to share one thing about, we don't need to get too far because this world might hear this. We started connecting in October and got married in August. I wanted to get married the next October and have a fall wedding, but our church didn't have any vacant weekends. So we went with kind of when the church had an available time. So we got married in August. So it was 10 months.
Yeah.
Fairly quick. I mean, in my thinking, we should have dated 3 years, but we didn't have that. We were getting old.
Yeah, but the thing I wanted to bring up was how I kind of knew, I got this kind of feeling, this kind of like flash that kind of happened. I just knew that you were the one. I got this feeling, and then you had a similar thing that kind of happened as well.
I did. We both did. The Lord had to knock us over the head quite hard because neither of us were looking for a relationship, frankly. And we weren't planning on it. And it's almost like the Lord had to say, I need to deal with you. I had an experience, and so did Nathan. Different times.
Different times.
But very aware that this is the right person. It was very interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, we definitely had a connection, and that it was a very genuine connection.
Mm-hmm.
Love was in the air. Love was in the air.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
All right, same question for the Coulters.
Well, it was about a year.
Yeah, it was about.
Yeah.
It was about October or November that we really, we decided to, we did the thing where we got in the car and John said, well, let's go look in the mall. Let's see what we can find. Let's just do some window shopping. So we're walking and strolling, and then pretty soon he says, I found a present for there was a woman that was older that he got a present for her for an early Christmas. And then the next thing that happened, we walked into a store after he'd gotten the present. We walked into a store and he's standing there, and I'm thinking, he's looking for something. And he said, Chris, you know what I'm doing? And I said, what? And he said, I'm looking at rings. And I just went, okay. And when we got home, we were talking. And he said, well, okay, I was looking at rings, but are you figuring on marrying me? And I said, I don't know. Do you want to? And he said, well, I would like to marry you. And I said, then okay. Let's do it. Let's get married.
All right.
That's how it happened.
Sounds wonderful.
Yes, the woman is not competing with me or trying to boss me around. So, okay, it just works as a team, and that's fine with me.
Nice.
Right on. All right. Our next question, let's start with Andy and Colette, is what type of wedding did you have? Was it a themed wedding or was it a simple wedding? Like, tell us about it a little bit.
Okay. At that point in time, I happened to be a sales rep for a health insurance company. And so I had a lot of friends in business. And one of the biggest friends I had were some of the labor unions at the Machinist Hall at Boeing. Figure I have to invite all these people, but I also didn't know how much, I didn't want to spend too much money. And so we had a potluck wedding at the Machinist Hall with a DJ. That was the reception. We had the wedding at Unity Church in Kent. And the church, it was the difficult part about the church part of the wedding was we had a person from the church audition for us with songs that she was going to sing. And so she sang about 8 different songs. And she said, so which one do you want? I said, all of them. So, yep. So we had all of them. We had a lot of friends that we knew from different, both the group of people we met with originally and other friends and family, although all my family was at home. in St. Louis. We told him not to make the trip out here. But when it came time for the wedding, my sister sent she thought she was sending a singing telegram. And the singing telegram turned out, after he got her money, she thought it was going to be a sophisticated guy. He dressed as Cupid in a diaper and showed up at the reception. And yes. I knew it was my sister sending it when I saw that it was Cupid in a diaper at our wedding. Andy, did you want to say something?
No,
You're so cute, Andy.
I heard that once before.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, Julie and Nathan.
We had a really nice church wedding at our church we were going to. It was the best wedding I've ever attended. We had a lot of folks there, and people from Julie's work and from my work, and about 200 people.
235 to be exact.
235. Okay,
Wow.
235 people there, and some very special friends from Canada came down. I didn't expect them to be there because it was a ways for them to come, but they came, and that was really special to me. So it was a very nice church wedding, very focused on our faith and how that entwines with what marriage means. So,
And we
that's kind
had
of what the wedding
his
was, yeah.
family was very involved in, my best girlfriend did the decorating and did the wedding arrangement, and she was
Yeah.
also a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
So my sister and her were my bridesmaids, and Nathan had a cousin and his best friend as a bridesmaid, and his mom
Not a
made
best
my
man,
wedding.
honey, not bridesmaid.
Best man.
Yeah, best man. There you
You're
go.
not a lady, are you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
sorry about
Yeah.
that.
That's
Anyway.
okay.
And his mom made my wedding dress, and then his stepmom, who did the
Oh.
catering. We had wonderful food. Funny thing
Yeah.
is, Nathan and I never got any food. We were so discombobulated, but she had quite an array of food, so it was really very special.
Well, we did have the cake though.
We had the
was out.
cake. We did
Yeah.
have some cake, yes.
Yes, we did.
Mhm.
I think that's the important part.
That
That's
was
right.
important. Yeah, very nice.
It was a beautiful, beautiful wedding.
Mhm.
Sounds like
18
it.
years ago,
Yep,
just about.
Wow. Wow.
17 and a half to be exact.
Yeah.
All right, Chris and John, what kind of wedding did you guys have?
I remember somebody who wanted me to sing for my own wedding, and I didn't because, of course, for the same reason as you talked about, Nathan. You get nervous. Yeah. So I said, no, I'm not singing. But a very dear friend who was in the church sang one of my favorite songs called "Entreat Me Not to Leave Thee," the Song of Ruth.
Oh.
It's a beautiful song, and she did a great job on the song. And at the reception, somebody, I think it was, yes, it was one of the women that was working with the wedding, and she announced that, well, now it's time. The wedding cake is being cut. But we decided we're not going to let them feed each other cake, because that would be a bad idea.
Yeah, it was a packed house,
It was.
and we've outlived the church that we got married in.
Yes, we have. We don't go there anymore.
No,
I don't even think it's really around anymore.
no, I don't think it is either.
I have something to add. This is Andy. At our wedding and our reception, I had an ex-wife there and Colette had an ex-husband there.
Hmm.
Okay, so Colette's gonna say, and we had no cake because neither one of us eat sugar or flour.
Oh.
So we figured, why have a cake? But that's also having the potluck. People could bring whatever it was they chose to eat and enjoy.
So the next question, we should have combined these, I think. How long have you been married? Starting with Andy and Colette?
31 years
30,
And
right?
9 months,
and 9 months.
as our students would say.
Oh, and 9 months.
Yeah, they always count the months.
And Nathan and Julie, I think you said
17 and a half.
We said
Good.
17 and a half. And just to add, I still consider Julie my little bride. So
Oh,
we're
how
still kind of
sweet.
newlyweds.
Mhm.
We'll always be newlyweds because there's always a love that's growing.
Who wants a good dinner tonight?
You saw my motive. Okay.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, it's for going on 20 some years. It's this last day is most important.
22 years, actually.
Yeah.
We're getting there. No.
Or what were some of the top values for your marriage?
This is Colette. I think for me, the main thing is finding somebody that would be my partner, but would also let me be myself. I mean, finding Andy and the fact that even though I love scuba diving and he went out of his way to learn to swim, even though he sinks like a rock. And I realized I don't need to make him watch these blurry black shapes go back and forth in the water. When I'm scuba diving, he doesn't need to be snorkeling and go through the terror of, is it a shark, a snake, or what have you? But he was willing to do that. But then most of the time he just let me go off on my own when I did that. And I let him go off to do the things he wanted and yet spend the time we loved together.
When we got married, we decided that we were going to be together for the rest of our lives, no matter what.
All right, Nathan and Julie, what were the top values for your marriage?
Top values. Well, for number one, I wanted to have a spouse who had the same faith as I do. It's really important to have those similar values. Otherwise, you get into arguments, and also it gives us a guide on which to build our marriage on. So for me, it was having someone who had a faith, was honest, could be, be independent, but yet be nurturing. And yeah, I think that kind of covers what I liked about Julie is she cares. And I wanted that in a marriage, someone who really cares about my needs and cares about things in general. And has the ability to understand when times are rough and listens. She's a good listener. That's really important in a marriage, to have someone who listens to you, that's open to your ideas, but yet can give constructive criticism in a nice way that you can work with. So there you go.
And I'll add, to me too, the person had to be of Christian faith, which I was, and I wanted that person to have the same ideals about how to pursue that faith, which Nathan and I did.
Yep.
And I wanted us to be together in that pursuit, meaning that we were both aware how important being involved in a church was and all that stuff, and being involved in ministry within that church. So we had that in common. That was good. And that was my first requirement of any husband. And the other requirements, I'm going to kind of sound like Colette, but I wanted a person that I could be interdependent with, but also maintain my dependence.
Yes.
And my independence, excuse me, because I'd been single. Yeah, really, they knew I had dependence. I'd been single. I didn't get married till I was 52. So I was very used to being independent, doing my own thing, not accountable to anyone. I mean, my time was my time. So for me, it was quite a transition as a woman being, having to take care of myself, basically. So that was a transition, but I needed a husband who could still let me be me. And Nathan does a good job at that. I'm not sure he always likes it, but he does a good job at that. Lets me do my own thing, lets me be me, but yet time together and sharing very special things together was important to me also.
Well, when we have similar ideas when it comes to how to deal with finances and all that stuff, so right. Yeah, really important to have those things in common.
Mm-hmm.
And we also believe that, divorce is not in our vocabulary, and we believe in staying together, just like Andy and Colette. This is it.
We made a commitment before. What we say is we made a commitment before God and our friends and our families. Yep. So that's it.
For life. Yep.
Right.
There you
go. Chris and John?
Honesty. Being honest with oneself and with others.
That's a good one.
I would say too.
That and keeping people together. That don't like each other is a way of stunting their growth spiritually and every other way. So if they're going to part, then they part. And if they stay together, it's too bad for them. I'm running around naked in the woods as an old pagan, and Chris is a very upstanding Christian. But we seem to have a lot more in common.
And I just felt like he needed to have room to have his way of life, and in going through that kind of thing, in learning about who he was and is, I felt like I should find out about the way he lives. And I kind of enjoyed it, but I was able to bring faith into everything that I was doing. And that, to me, I was glad to do that.
She teaches me.
The next question is, what were a couple of things that you absolutely would not tolerate in your marriage? Arvidsons, go first.
Drinking,
Okay.
drinking alcohol, I would not tolerate in a marriage. And that's because of my past experience. And so I need to be involved with somebody who is going to be able to joyfully enjoy without having to imbibe.
Smoking. I'm so allergic to smoke. If somebody lights a cigarette 2 blocks down the street, I can smell it.
Oh. And alcohol, this is Julie. I would not tolerate physical abuse of any kind, and I wouldn't tolerate emotional abuse. I mean, you might feel abused in a tiny situation in an argument, but not ongoing emotional abuse. And I wouldn't tolerate being put down.
Nathan?
Infidelity.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, to the Coulters, a couple of things that you would not tolerate in your marriage.
Disobedience.
Oh,
You sound like Nathan.
yeah, right. He's always telling me. Yeah. Well, anyway, I think really seriously, what I would not tolerate is out and out lying,
Yeah.
and there isn't any of that.
Yep.
Really drugs, heavy, hard drugs.
Yeah.
And cruelty, mental or physical.
All right. I think those are all very good values to have in any type of relationship, not just a marriage. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Jason, to that question, what are a couple of things that you disagree about? Again, with the Arvidsons, Andy and Colette.
Housekeeping.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm a clutter person. It's not that I disagree with him at all. I just never get around to not cluttering things. And of course, you know that that's more difficult for him to deal with because he can't see it. And he gets around so well, I forget that he can't see when I leave stuff in the way. And he trips over it. Then I find out when I hear the screech of pain.
Ouch. Ouch.
This
All
is
right, Julie and Nathan.
Oh,
Okay.
I would say for Nathan, the frustrating thing for him might be my excess use of time in all my involvements.
It's not really a disagreement. It's yeah, you have a lot of
Demands.
demands on you. That's true, and that can be difficult. But I don't know if it's. I mean, I'm totally supportive of what you do, though. So
But it's
I would-
frustrating too.
the first thing that came to mind for me was I have a very eclectic musical taste, and so some of my music she doesn't like, and she doesn't like it when I play it loud. So
Right.
that can be a thing of disagreement. But there's not a lot really between us. We pretty much agree on most things. So we don't really have any strong disagreements other than just time management we have different ideas about that. Julie's very committed to her WCB presidency, and that takes up a lot of time. So that's the only point of contention that could be, relevant here.
All right, Chris and John, what are some disagreements that you have in your marriage?
I'm a Mac and he's a Windows.
We're a mixed marriage.
That PC and Mac definitely can divide a household.
Yes.
So this might go
All right.
fast. Is it my turn or your turn?
Nope, I was going to throw it over to you.
Oh, okay. So how do you resolve your disagreements?
An axe.
Actually, that was what happened. And it was, he had calmed down after being frustrated about the whole difference and how he couldn't help me. And he said he was going to take an axe to it. And so he came back in after having calmed down. And he said, look what I found. The Mac had kind of gone, it was old and needed to be replaced or whatever. And he stuck the axe in the empty Mac box. And we laughed very hard over that.
Okay, the Arvidsons. We're a little out of whack, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, as far as the clutter, he just is patient. I don't know how he is patient as he is for my clutter and my lack of good housekeeping. However, I remembered some other things.
Oh.
And the two big things that I get up that frustrate me are his love of WWE and the wrestling people, those supposed professionals, and kimchi.
Oh.
And then I'm the one, he could tell you which TV I like.
Hallmark love story Christmas songs or Christmas movies.
And the best way we resolve that is we've got 2, 3, 4 TVs in the house. So we can go to whichever room and we both get to enjoy it. And then we'll say, okay, I'm done with mine. Do you want to watch something together or do something together and get back together for that?
Very
And
nice.
we fix our own meals most of the time.
Oh.
Well, for us, the way I try and solve the time commitment problem, in my mind, I think Nathan and I always have breakfast together, listen to a devotion together in the morning. And then I think that's Nathan time. I have little bits of time for each person in my life anyway. And then we get together in the evenings. We're always together at dinner and after and watch some shows together. We just bought a new hot tub, you guys. So some of our evening time we get to spend in the hot tub now. So that's what I do. I tell Nathan, or how I feel. It's my daytime, I get the work done, except for all the evening meetings I have, whatever. Get all the daytime work done, and that's my separate time. And I think that's what he and I have come to realize. It's just kind of like being no different than being at work during the day, and then we have our morning and evening time together. And that's how
I would say too. I think the other thing that works for us too is if I have some kind of awareness of what the schedule is, so I know, I don't like surprises. I like things to, and Julie's pretty spontaneous, so that's one way we're different.
That is very different.
Yeah, and she gets, all of a sudden she's going to go out to lunch with a gal, and that's it. That's what she's doing. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't tell you. Oh, whoops. Okay. So just she's very spontaneous, and I'm not. I like to plan, and so that's one way we're different, but we work out those things by having time together time, and we try to schedule that on a consistent basis. I did think of one other thing that it's not really something to disagree about, just something we're different about. And she loves baseball and I hate baseball, and I love football. She tolerates football, but I just can't stand baseball. It's too slow.
Oh, interesting.
I do like wrestling though. I understand the wrestling. Yeah.
So we're a divided household there.
Yes. But actually, I listen to baseball games with you sometimes. And,
You do, and complain all the time, but that's okay.
tolerate it, you know.
Yeah.
And you listen to football games when, like, you know, when the Seahawks are doing really good.
Yeah. I'm a fair weather listener. Yes.
Yeah. But for the most part, I could pass on the whole baseball season. So
Mhm.
there you go.
Okay, well, that brings us to a good question. What are some of your favorite things to do together?
Oh,
Let's start with Andy and Colette.
Most favorite, cruising. Getting on a cruise ship, traveling, and having a chance to not have anybody else's phones or information coming in, and having meals together where we each get to eat what we want, but we get to eat it together at a table. And then Scrabble and Uno.
I would say martial arts, but that doesn't work well.
The only reason it doesn't work quite as well is because I am very competitive, and I do not like the fact that my husband, who is my junior by 2 digits on his belt and 6 months of training, remembers things better than I do. So that part does not make it as much fun, but we do a lot together. The fact that we can actually have a business together and work together all day and live together is, to me, is amazing. And that's our retirement job.
I find it easier to ask myself questions like, would I rather be right or would I rather be happy?
And I'd rather be both.
All right.
All right, Nathan and Julie.
Well, we like to sing together. That's something we enjoy. Don't we, Joel?
we do. Mhm.
Yeah.
What kind of music? Like, what kind of stuff do you sing together?
Well, we've done some songs in church, and we've done some folk songs, just, you know, popular kind of folk songs we've done together.
We enjoy church activities together. We always
activities,
go
yeah.
to church together and have like a group here or there that we belong to together. So we enjoy that together. I love to eat out, you guys. I'm an eat out person.
Does
I
like
would
you
eat
that.
out 3 meals a day,
She would.
365 days a year, if I could. I don't know why, but I do. And he's been very willing to be dragged along into that desire. So I enjoy our time together when we do that together.
Yeah, I enjoy our meals together that we have, and I enjoy we have our nights, evenings where we watch a little TV together, and now the hot tub, which is nice to just relax and talk about the day, you know.
It is. So
But
yeah, those kind of things together, we really do.
Sounds awesome. Chris and John, favorite things to do together?
Burgers and beer.
Absolutely.
That's invading restaurants and
Yeah.
checking them out. That and discussing current events.
Oh, and we don't really argue about current events. We pretty much agree on a lot of what goes on in the world. But we like to talk to each other. We carry on some really good conversation.
If I felt better, I'd like to drive. That's hard to do now.
Down the back roads, and I can't walk in the woods with my ankle. It healed, but not well enough to make my balance work well.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Arvidsons, how do you divide up household chores and other, shopping and different things like that?
That's a hard one. I mean, we just kind of know what we were doing.
We take turns doing the laundry. We stuff our dishes in the dishwasher and push the button.
Yeah.
And usually the first one to the dishwasher after it's done gets unloaded.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to think of, and then, he's very nice about not complaining when I don't get things picked up around the house, but I've got a Roomba, but she can only work in the studio as an automatic vacuum, because in the living room right now, I have too much clutter. If I turned it on automatic schedule, it would eat up too much stuff that's laying there. So when that's cleared up, it's okay. But I think, and I usually do most of the shopping, although we do a lot on Amazon, where we're both, ordering what we want and it arrives.
Well, for us, I do the shopping and the cooking and the meal prep. Nathan takes care of the garbage, and he does a lot of the things around the house, like make sure the doors are locked at night, turn off the heat. He's up later than I am. So he kind of takes care of that. And then, like I said, I do the food and I do all the grocery shopping. So.
And I kind of also kind of work with the environment, making sure things are kind of cleared up and hopefully put away. Sometimes I miss something. That does happen, but we both do that once in a while. And then somebody tells us, hey, did you know that you have an empty water bottle on the floor? Oh, whoops.
Yeah, being both blind. We've always hired a housekeeper.
Loud in here?
So every 2 weeks we have someone come clean our home. We did in Seattle and we do here. At first I felt so guilty when I started doing that in Seattle. I thought I should be doing this myself. And it was wonderful when I gave myself permission to do that, because I was working generally 50 hours a week. So it just, it was okay. It was okay to let go and be done with that and not think I was a bad blind person.
Yeah. It's just easier. And
Oh, it is.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There
at all.
isn't. I had to get to that, but there isn't.
Yeah.
Chris and John?
Our division of labor is, he is a great cook and I'm the barista. I make good coffee. And, so breakfasts get to be really, really nice times.
And she's inspiration for my cooking.
Oh, yes. Yum, yum.
All right. As a couple, do you guys have bucket list items you'd like to do together?
We've been trying to get to the Lighthouse with the Blind in Athens, Greece, while they're open, because it's a museum for blind people. If you have sight, they blindfold you when you go in. And so far we've been over in that neighborhood a couple of times. They've always been closed. But this year we're going to get to do that and actually go in, and everything in the museum is touchable. It's all tactile. So, and then I also, because I just turned a couple of weeks ago, I passed my 64th anniversary of being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I want to be able to celebrate 75 years of it. So I got 11 to go.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. And as the tour operator, tour planner, I just kind of make it like, okay, here's where we're going to go on the cruise ship. Now I'm going to try different places. And this year we're going to stop. We're going to be on land for a week. And I've contacted, I Google for accessible tours for the blind. And so we're going to do accessible tours in Rome and in Florence and in Ravenna. And one of the tours in Ravenna before we get on the ship to try to head over to Athens is one where you get to make your own mosaics that are geared toward people who are blind. So it's just, so that it's just trying to find things that we can both enjoy and do and have accessible, because as you know, not everything in the world is accessible.
That's really cool.
Well, we have a bucket list that is to cruise along the east coast of this country, do an Atlantic cruise. And I think we might be looking toward that. My sister and I are turning the big 70 this year. And so we're looking forward to doing a cruise maybe in September. So that'll be fun. And one thing on our bucket list, and it's on my list because it's on Nathan's list, is to visit Nashville.
Yeah, I want to go back. I love Nashville and Knoxville and Memphis.
Tennessee, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the trips on our list, actually.
Sounds like you're gonna have a busy time traveling the country.
I think so.
I've been to Nashville. It's pretty awesome.
You like it too? Yeah.
Yeah, even as a blind person, there's a lot to take in and enjoy, and like especially if you're into music, there's a whole variety of activities to check out.
Absolutely.
That's what he wants. Yes, exactly. So we're trying to figure out a way to get that done.
All right, Chris and John.
I just soon take another road trip down through Nye County from Las Vegas on up to Oregon. I've done that once before, and it's pretty interesting. Be out through the sagebrush and all that, and in the middle of nowhere. Really interesting people you meet along the road.
I would agree with that, because I've never been to those places and I would love to go. I really have always liked what the Southwest is about. just traveling all over this country, that would be really fun.
Sounds good. We only have 2 more questions. And my question is, what do you like to do alone?
Okay, so most of my alone, well, would be scuba diving, except I'm not scuba diving in this cold weather anymore. So I do like to do that alone. And I do like to watch my Hallmark movies alone because I know he would just sit there and laugh if he was in the room with me.
I like to read books and work out.
I like to read. I love to read when I can find the time. And most of my life, I've done some teaching, Bible teaching. For many years I taught adult Sunday school at church, and now I'm doing a Bible study once a week. So I love to do curriculum development and study to present materials for teaching.
Well, I like to play music, so I can do that 24 hours a day.
You could.
And so I can do that alone or with somebody, either way. But I like to really sit and analyze a piece, take a song and break it down and figure out what's going on in the song and analyze it in detail. So that's something I really enjoy. And I watch a lot of YouTube videos regarding that. So it's a lot of fun. So that's what I like to do. And I like to read as well, both ebooks and audiobooks. I like to make sure that I have time for my Bible time. It's important too. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Coulters?
Well, having had 2 strokes, reading is like looking at Chinese to me. So I don't read as much as I used to. I was pretty voracious. And so I like to get out in the woods and clear trails so that people can enjoy the woods, the nature.
Nice.
So it's not getting lost in them, but to find a clear trail and they can find their way back to safety from there. But it's something I like to do because I like to kill diseased trees by chopping them down. Pretty good at it. Chris, you had something?
Yeah. I realized quite a while ago that I wasn't reading as much as I used to. I was a voracious reader. But the reason I found out that I don't read as much is because I've started writing. I write for Newsline, as you all know, but I also write kind of a journal, a memoir. I'm not sure what it is, but I write stuff and I have a good time doing it.
All right, so we're getting close to time, and I know Nathan has an appointment coming up, so I want to let the Brannons go first on this next question, so that way he can get out as soon as possible. What advice would you give to a couple who may have a blind partner, or who is a blind person who has a sighted partner? What kind of advice would you give them to make the marriage work and to kind of be better at their relationships? Because I know a lot of people, I want to set this up a little bit. I know some people have trouble with being with someone who's disabled, or someone who's disabled has trouble being with a sighted partner. And I know we have quite a mix here, and I just want to kind of get your take on that. So, Julie and Nathan?
Well, I think when you are a blind person, and Nathan and I both are, you never know in your life, who am I going to marry, a sighted person or a blind person? Yeah. And a lot of times you think, for us, I thought marrying a sighted person would certainly make life a little easier. I'd have some wheels and I'd have someone to read, all that kind of stuff. But what I came to realize is it doesn't matter, sighted or blind. What matters is that you love them. Yeah. And so I would say, I do know some blind people who've married sighted people, and they said they did that because they thought they needed to be taken care of, and they're not happy because they married for the wrong reason. So that's the advice I would give. Mm-hmm. Don't marry because you're sighted or blind. That person is. Marry because you love that person. And if that love is there, and enough camaraderie is there, and enough similarness, if that's a word, is there, then you can make it work, sighted or blind. Nathan and I have an interesting situation. When we got married, he had quite a bit of vision. He could read regular print, actually, some magnification, but he still could. And I must admit, that did make my life easier. And then he lost his vision overnight from a failed surgery in 2009. Nathan went totally blind. I thought, boy, it's a good thing I didn't marry him because he could read print. I mean, that wasn't it. It was just an additional niceness, but it had nothing to do with my love for him. So that's the recommendation I give. Don't let sighted or blindness define your reason for marrying somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's something I can say, testify to is, there's a lot of marriages that break up because of one person losing their vision. And they just say, oh, I don't want to take care of you. No, that's not what I married you for. How are we going to travel together? You can't see, or whatever. With Julie, I lost everything that I had. And I had quite a bit of vision for a visually impaired person. I was still legally blind, but I was a high partial and I could do a lot of stuff. But when I lost it, she still stuck with me and helped me through the loss. That was huge. Not every person is as lucky as I am when it comes to that. So really, Julie's right. As far as whether you're marrying a blind person or not, don't let that be, don't marry someone just because they have some vision. You never know. You never know if you're going to be, you could marry someone because they're a good runner, they lose their legs. You don't know when there's going to be something that might happen to you and you're in a different place. And so you marry someone because of who they are, because they have attributes that you cherish and that you agree with and that you want to be around that person. And take time to get to know them. Don't just jump in. If you can, don't move too fast. Take time to get to know someone. There's no, don't have to be in a hurry. It's good to know one another. So there you go.
Very good.
All right, Andy and Colette.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, when I met Andy, I don't know if he was legally blind at the time because he'd been legally blind for the last 40 something years ago. But he was controlling his blood sugars and having diabetic retinopathy. Somehow he had gotten himself to be able to be behind the wheel of a car by the time I met him. So we don't know exactly what that vision was at the time.
I was legally blind, still driving.
Yeah. One of those. But I knew we had talked about his diabetes, and my sister had warned me against marrying a diabetic because she had to try to raise her stepdaughter who was totally blind and who from diabetes. And I said, so I knew that Andy was going to lose his vision. He knew it was getting worse. It's like, okay. But I think the thing that advice that I would give anybody all my life, as I mentioned earlier, I was always looking for somebody who would make me feel like I was okay because they needed me, because they wanted me, because I was their girlfriend and I was okay because I had a guy. And it wasn't until I thought I had a relationship in this long distance relationship, and I just got to be Andy's friend. Like I said, from February until August, when it hit me that, oh, I'm really attracted to this guy. And so, being able to be a friend first because I wasn't looking and I wasn't desperate anymore, because I'd made some big mistakes over my years before that, picking people for the wrong reasons and picking jerks. And it's like, oh, I got to get to know somebody first and then find out there was an attraction. And that's the things. And I do hear sometimes people who are blind say, they're really worried because they don't know what's going to happen if they're going to find somebody. And all I know is that for me, even though I wasn't blind, I had to stop looking. I just had to be happy with myself. And if my higher power kind of put this other long distance relationship in my life so I wouldn't have somebody around next to me to tell me I was okay.
Well, I find it interesting. Colette said the first thing she noticed about me was my arms, not my eyes. I'm not very big. I'm 5'6.5", and I'm actually getting fat because I've been on light duty here so much from all of my surgeries, but I'm a whole 165 pounds. I'm fat. I wasn't looking for anybody either. I had been in a relationship when I first met her, And then I wasn't in a relationship. And we were on a trip to Vancouver, BC with a bunch of people one time. And she said, "Where's your spouse?" And I said, "I don't have one." And it just developed from there. Our friendship got closer. But I have come to believe that you look at people from the inside out instead of the outside in.
Yeah.
And see what their heart is all about and their gut feelings are all about, and their personality is more important than their looks or their ability, physical abilities. Their personality is the best thing. So
Yep.
yeah.
All right. So it sounds like love and communication is the keys here that I'm hearing. What about you guys, Chris and John?
Pretty much, how does that person make you feel? Feel good, and you feel right and positive in that presence, then that's the person to be with. Doesn't matter what they look like, what race they are, or sex, or anything else. It's just, if you can't be with them and you're always angry or something like that, then no, it's not good. So it's very simple. It's very unintellectual, but that's the body and the soul at the same time.
John's right about that. And he's shown that all along from the time we met. I had a very hard time because I really wanted to be normal in every way, including finding love like everyone else does. But it took me a long time. I was 51 when we got married, and it was my one and only marriage. So, that I really began to realize that I loved this man. And it was good. It was so good. And I didn't even have to learn exactly. I just fell into it. But sometimes both blind and sighted people, if they're looking at the two as a couple, put too much complication in it. And they don't have to. So that's what I have to say.
All right.
Great.
Well, that concludes our questions. I want to thank all of you for being here and participating. Linda, do you have anything that you want to say before we move to the outro of this?
No, yes. I really enjoyed all of your answers and how candid you each were in your answers. And I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this podcast, because I think it'll be informative and helpful to other people. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. It's been a really eye-opening experience.
Thanks,
thank you all for being
Linda.
here.
Thanks, Zach.
Good job.
This podcast was made in association with Washington Council of the Blind's Newsline publication. You can contact us at the WCB Newsline at gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Credit for this production goes to podcast producer Zack Hurtz, editors Heather Mears and Reginald George, and we'd like to extend a thank you to Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com for his use of the song Life of Riley. Thank you so much for listening, and tune in for our next episode or check out previous episodes.